Welcome to Cosmic Roadmap. I'm your host, Melissa Lamport, Reiki Astrogeo guide and best-selling author. Have you ever wondered where in the world you should be? This podcast is about bridging cultures and helping the endless wanderer find their purpose and place in the world. Hear stories from digital nomads, avid travelers, and aspiring globetrotters, and learn how they discovered where they were destined to be and build their legacy. If you're curious about astrogeography and where you're meant to be on the planet, go to cosmicroadmap.com to download your free passport to purpose. Welcome to the second season of Cosmic Roadmap. We are coming at you from Bali, Indonesia. I'm your host, Melissa Lamport, and my special guest today is Kristen Wishart, and she is a digital nomad currently based here in Bali, Indonesia. That's only the start of her journey. She loves to travel, obviously, good food, and learning about different cultures. Her current hobbies include yoga, surfing, and petting as many dogs and cats as possible. She has an Instagram page and podcast for Chinese Adoptees called Confessions of a Chinese Adoptee. And we connected through business mentor Danielle Hu of the Wander Lover. And I'm so blessed that we crossed paths here in Bali. It's always amazing when I connect with my past clients and we get to meet in person. So yeah, so it's been exciting. So welcome. And how has your journey been since our Astrogeo session?
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm so honored to be here. So we had our Astrogeo session back in February. So it's been 8 months and a lot has changed since then, for sure.
And the interesting thing is when we looked at your chart, we very quickly looked at Bali. And when I looked at it now, I realized that you had your moon energy, which is all about home and like really just like grounding and spirituality. And the other one was sun energy. So it's almost like having the sun within yourself. So have you felt any of that energy while being here?
Yeah, so I've spent my first month in Canggu, which is more on the coastline, of beaches, more like partying, surfing, stuff like that.
So not very spiritual.
Not very spiritual. So I haven't really been able to tap into that side yet, but I've noticed that I've really been more outgoing and social with people, meeting new people. It's exciting. So maybe that's like the sun energy that I'm tapping into. And now that I'm in Ubud, I'm only here for a week, but I want to come back because it's so nice and quiet and peaceful, and it's where like all the yoga, meditation, spiritual stuff happens. So maybe when I come back, I can do that and tap into the moon and the Neptune.
Oh, Neptune, yeah, because of that spirituality aspect. So yeah, this is definitely the spiritual center of Bali, and that's why I've kind of been drawn to this being my home since I arrived back in August. So yeah, I arrived back August 13th, and it's already, around the 11th October. So it's been close to 2 months. I'm about to leave to do my visa run. And yeah, this has definitely been, it's felt like home. Like I'll occasionally go to the ocean, to Canggu or to Seminyak or to Sonora, but I always come back here. This feels like a good grounding place.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it so far. I really like it. We'll get into this like later in the episode, but we were talking about maybe where I might want to go next, and just the thought of staying here in Bali was really like calming and just, I don't know, just very... I'm not thinking of the word
grounding, like it just
grounding,
or peaceful, right?
Peaceful, yeah.
And is that what you felt like the instant you arrived? Because I felt like I could finally like relax, like I could just let put everything aside and just rest. Like the instant that I arrived here in Bali, because we both have moon energy here, so it's that home energy where you can just relax and not worry about the outside world.
Yeah, I'm not sure I felt that because it was after a 28-hour flight.
Yeah,
so
that too.
Very tired. And then went to Canggu, which is very loud and noisy.
Right.
So maybe not then, but hopefully I can find that in Ubud.
Okay, yeah. I think because I arrived in Ubud, so it was like it was just very peaceful. Like you could see all the rice paddy fields in the distance. Yeah. And like how have things like transformed while being here? And now you were already looking to be a digital nomad, and things are changing. So how have things been shifting as you've stayed here like a few weeks now, right?
Yeah, a month and a half almost. Yeah. So the first 2 weeks I was here, it was really good, very social. I was just so happy to be here. And I couldn't believe that I was here and that I like actually did the thing, left Boston and came here. And I've just, I guess, settled into life here in Bali, and I really love it here. And now I'm trying to figure out how to stay here longer and continue my journey as a digital nomad through a career change.
Okay. Are there any specifics on the career change?
Yeah.
Because right now you're working remote, but
Yes.
it's probably a little difficult
Yeah.
with the hours, right?
My nonprofit that I'm working for, I'm an administrative assistant.
Right.
So they're only going to let me stay here for 1 to 2 months. So maybe by November they'll find someone else and I'll have to find a new job. So I want to find something else that I'm more passionate about and that will allow me to stay here.
Yeah. So that's a little bit of the past, but you also created a community, like you started building a network on Instagram, and you had a podcast, and what was that?
Yeah, Confessions of a Chinese Adoptee.
Yeah. Tell me like a little bit about that, like where that came about, because also our Astrogeo session was from this sense of not belonging, or like, where is my true home?
Ooh, that's true. Yeah, that was back in Boston.
Yeah.
And I was looking for a way to maybe connect more with other Chinese adoptees and with my ancestral roots in China. So I started Confessions of a Chinese Adoptee to give voice to other Chinese adoptees, mostly living in America, but just sharing my story and other stories to help shed some light on being an adoptee, because most of the time it's about like the parents and how it's just happy and rainbows and sunshine, but adoption isn't always about that. It's also about loss as well to your biological family and your ancestral roots. So that's why I started it, the Instagram page and podcast that I have. I think there's 10 episodes now where I talk about myself and my story, and then also interview other Chinese adoptees as well.
Yeah, amazing. And do you see yourself, I know you took a little break from that. That's obviously a passion project of yours, and it'll continue on in some form, right?
Yes, I hope to continue that work. But right now taking a break.
Exactly. And that's why I took a break also from the Cosmic Roadmap podcast as well. It was so chaotic, like leaving your home. Like, you don't know where things are gonna go. Because I left New Jersey, we're both from the East Coast, and you're from Boston. And I was like, I'm gonna come to Bali for a month, 2 months, maybe 2 years, and then the 2 years manifested so easily before the month even came. And so sometimes you just have to take that little break to expand even more. So I know that you connected with me because you were looking for kind of like that home. What's that connection? And the interesting thing is that your energy that you have here in Bali is similar to the energy in your birthplace in China. And then also your moon node is there, your purpose energy. So it was interesting that you started the community, the Confessions of the Chinese Adoptee, so connecting you back to your ancestral roots. Where do you see yourself like going now that you're here in Bali, like using this energy of grounding? Do you see yourself expanding in some other ways, like in a business or?
Yeah, I hope to, like I said, change careers. So hopefully expand in my ability to use my creativity in my job. Thinking about maybe like web development or web design. Okay. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
And then also probably expanding my spiritual practice, because I have done some in the past, but I haven't really been keeping up with it. So maybe reigniting that and keeping that going, and through yoga and meditation.
And you also took up surfing, right?
Yes.
How has that been? Because I took some lessons and I was terrified, like completely terrified, but it was fun. I didn't make it up. I just made it to like my knees. But it feels so amazing to like finally make it to shore, and you're like, oh my God, I'm not falling in the water. Yeah, how has that been, and like how has that translated into like your life, like just taking lessons? And
Yeah, I've taken 5 lessons now, so I'm not a pro, but I am able to stand up on the board, and it's really fun. I surf on Kuta, so the waves are a lot smaller.
Right.
Not ready for the big waves yet, but yeah, it's just so much fun, and it's a nice place and time to just relax and not think about anything else.
Okay. And how do you see that like helping you in your life? Like, because it could be a sport, right? It can also help like spiritually, right? Because it's very meditative. Like you're going out into the waves and like coming back, and
it really brings you back into your body, because you don't have time or the bandwidth to think about things while also like trying to surf. So it really brings you back into your body and gives your mind a break.
And it's probably very humbling too. You get knocked down and you have to get up again.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Yeah, so moving on to like people that you've met here. There's
so many.
What have the synchronicities been? I know like on my trip, like coming here, like even when I went to Spain, like I came across people, even you, like before I did this trip, I remember I posted like, oh, I'm gonna be in Bali, and you were like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be in Bali around that same time. So it's just perfect, and like so
synchronistic.
Yeah, so synchronistic and aligned. What has manifested while you've been here? And the people that you've met.
So many people like from all over the world, and it's really cool just to meet different people and hear their stories. And one person that I've met in particular is from South Korea, and it's so sad because she's not here anymore. She went back to South Korea. But yeah, I've just made a lot of friends, and it's been really nice. Yeah.
And the interesting thing with her is that we looked at South Korea, and the same sun line that goes through Bali actually goes through Seoul.
Seoul, which is where she lives.
And you plan to visit her up in Seoul.
Yes, I want to visit her.
And the sun energy is all about being seen and having that sun, that energy within yourself.
Which is really interesting, because like we both really love taking pictures, and like in portrait mode is so good on iPhone. And so that kind of resonates with the sun energy and being seen, like getting your photograph taken and taking each other's photographs.
Like that illumination energy.
Exactly.
Very cool. And you also plan to go to Greece eventually?
So she was talking about how she doesn't like Seoul or living in Korea and might want to explore like Greece or Croatia. And I would love to go to Greece, so it would be so cool if we could go together or meet up there. Yeah,
because you have Jupiter energy. It was a bit spotty in Europe, but in Athens you had Jupiter energy, which is all about abundance and like tapping into like prosperity energy. That'll be really
great.
Cool. Yeah. And what other things have manifested? I know here, like things have been like I went to a bamboo workshop, and like things just manifested, like my business opportunity, the motorbike trip that I had, right? The 4-day motorbike trip. So these strange occurrences, but I also wonder if it's the magic of Bali. So have you experienced any other interesting like things as you've been on around the island?
I've met a lot of people, like I said, and like I think talking to them about what they do is really helpful in guiding me on my career journey. So
like opening your mind to what's possible.
Exactly.
Because in Canggu there's a lot of digital nomads, right? Like
so many.
Tech people. Because even being here, I'm like, maybe I should go into the user interface. What is it? User
UI?
Experience, the UI UX. I'm like, maybe I should get certified. So it's just opening like these ideas of, okay, there's more ways to work remotely.
Exactly. And that's why I came here, is because there's so many digital nomads, people doing what I want to be doing, and getting to talk to them and see what they do and how they got there is really helpful in guiding me through the career process.
And how was the experience leaving your home, like figuring out, because I'm guessing your job allowed you the privilege to work remotely, but then just like leaving home, right? And like having to say goodbye, because I don't know, were you planning to go back?
I don't know. Because Like,
so it was very open-ended. You were like, all right, I don't know
yeah.
where this is going to take me.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
Boston's great.
And you have Saturn energy there, which is it's more about like discipline and like balance.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's where I started like the Confession of a Chinese Adoptee and becoming maybe a virtual assistant. So yeah, lots of career stuff happened there. But like the city is just, I don't know, very noisy, and it just was dragging me down, I think, a little bit. And also that's where I met my ex. So like during our session back in February, we were still together, but we've since broken up, and just like that's where we met and that's where we were together. He's since left, but it's just hard because I associate them together now.
Exactly.
So it brings this sadness, the thought of Boston.
Yeah. So now you're starting something new and seeing,
fresh,
yeah.
happy.
Yeah, no, that's what I feel too, because I constantly I lived on my Pluto line back in New Jersey, so it was all about this transformation and a lot of things dying off to let, new things come in, but it was just very exhausting. So to be here and to be creating this like new path, this new home, it almost feels like the path that my parents took, like leaving Guatemala to go to the US, and now I'm like embarking on this new adventure myself.
Yeah.
But it's more for like mental health, for clarity, for healing, and for simplicity. Yeah, so it's just really beautiful.
Yeah.
And where do you see like this journey going? You already see yourself here in Bali, but maybe going to Thailand, like
Possibly,
traveling around to different parts of Southeast Asia, right?
Yeah.
And bouncing around.
Yeah,
So,
possibly, yeah. Right now, I feel very grounded and peaceful here in Bali, but maybe, visiting Thailand or Philippines, the beaches, Vietnam, my friend in South Korea.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's funny because we were chatting before, and my friend, my Brazilian friend that I went around the island with was like, maybe we should do another like motorbike trip, or I'm like, that sounds cool, but I feel really at home here. It's so comfortable where like I don't feel like leaving at this very moment. But the truth is I do have to leave to do my visa run, so that is the reality of being here in Bali. But it's beautiful that I was able to get the 2-year visa, so I don't have to keep on doing that. But I feel so grounded here, where I'm like, wait, I'm a digital nomad, but I'm not being very nomadic at the moment, and I think it's okay. It's okay when you find that place at home. When you feel so at home, to take the time to just rest. Because I was guilty at the very beginning, where I would take weeks to take almost like a long week just to rest. Because the energy of traveling and moving from place to place, and I don't know if you've experienced that. Like, you were at Outpost for quite a while, right?
2 weeks.
Okay.
But since then, I've been like bouncing around from Airbnbs, and it's very exhausting.
It is, right? Because you're packing up your life, and you're like, where am I going, and how am I going to get there? And and I realized now that I've been here for a month, or close to a month, I decided I'm just doing a month lease, with one place, so I can just have my stuff here. Even if I was going to travel outside, like at least I have a place to come back to right home. I think to people listening or watching, it's okay to try to find a base, because when you're traveling, it is very jarring to the nervous system. So, how have you been? Have you done any like rituals or anything to like keep you grounded? Because I try to do meditations like Kundalini to keep me grounded, but then I get derailed eventually.
Not really. Honestly, that would help me so much if I did, but I haven't really been.
Or even going to the beach, right? Because you've stayed in Canggu, and like you can easily go to the beach, right? Like,
True.
are there certain things that you do that, or even going to breakfast, right? Keeping a kind of like a schedule.
I guess like going to Outpost. So even though I'm moving where I'm staying, I always go back to like, the same co-working space.
Okay.
And so I guess that brings me comfort and like the familiarity and all of my friends, all my new friends now, and taking a rest. It can be hard to say no and just rest, but it's important. So resting on the beach or like in my Airbnb, just laying there. Okay.
Yeah, it reminds me of here. There's a restaurant that a lot of digital nomads go to, Sayuri, and I just feel so like this grounding, peaceful energy. And sometimes you see like old friends, like they'll pop in, and it's like, hey. So it almost feels like home. So you're finding that home, even though that might not be your essentially your home, but a familiar place. Yeah. So that
Your base.
Yeah, your base, exactly. Yeah, do you see yourself doing any other connections to like your ancestors, or like working, like going a little further with the Confessions of a Chinese Adoptee? Do you see that expanding in some way while being here?
It depends on how long I'm going to be here for, yes, I'd like to eventually pick that back up and continue the podcast and maybe continue posting, and then maybe opening up the community or doing something else related to Confessions of a Chinese Adoptee.
It was really beautiful because I remember going through all of like your Instagram posts, and just, it's a very interesting experience that you've gone through, because like you said, it's not all rainbows and
sunshine.
and sunshine, exactly. No, I appreciate that you stepped into that role to share these stories. So I think it will be beautiful to just keep seeing like what comes out, and I don't know, maybe a documentary in the future. Like you just you never know what can come out of it. So so a lot of exciting things. And how can people connect with you?
So like I said, my Instagram, the Confessions of a Chinese Adoptee, and then the podcast as well on Apple and Spotify. And then my personal Instagram is at Rare Orchid 24.
Which it'll be all in the show notes. So yes, thank you for being on today, and I'm like so blessed that we were able to connect. Just to give a little background, like you said that you were coming here on Instagram like before I came, and then we were able to meet up in Canggu. So I was in Ubud, and I went to Canggu to meet up, and we watched the sunset. So it was really, really nice. I'm so blessed. So thank you for being on. And remember, lineage goes beyond your ancestors. You are meant to connect to the cosmos, so you may finally find your cosmic family. Until next time.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Cosmic Roadmap. If you would like to book a session with me to explore your own cosmic roadmap and chart your next destination in business, love, and life, then head over to cosmicroadmap.com.